empowerment are.
And the Christians being the majority in Ghana, what do you think will happen? And to me, that is a real test.
Yeah.
Prejudicial comments on it.
It is unconstitutional. If you look at Article 21C of the Constitution, it gives every Ghanaian an opportunity to practice their religion.
Why am I saying this? I'm going to use my life experience as an example. Before I decided to enter into SRC,
COVID is very important. HIV is equally important.
Agencies must do a lot. And Ministry of Gender.
I could see flashes of light, I could see shadows, I could see images, but then it stopped. I am now blind and have to be sad and all that.
There are challenges to this effect. So what do we do as a nation? What do we do as individuals? What do we do as organizations?
Je lance à toutes les personnes handicapées, aussi bien les femmes également.
Once you lack integrity, trust me, you are going nowhere.
A lot of people go to church and they are Christians, but they are not truly repentant. It happened to me, like only by the mercy and grace of God, that I'm alive to share all that I've been through or went through.
Showing every Friday at 6 p.m. You can follow us on Facebook, on Instagram, and also on Twitch, as well as YouTube. You are welcome to Empowerment show, showing on Today Ghana News TV.
The Socialist Movement of Ghana announces the program for the celebration of this year's Founders' Day, the birthday of Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah. The celebration starts on Tuesday, September 20, 2022, with a placard parade from the Black Star Square to the Bank of Ghana headquarters on the Professor Atta Mills High Street from 10 a.m. On Wednesday, September 21, there will be a public forum at the headquarters of the Socialist Movement of Ghana on the George Walker Bush Highway at 4 p.m. The event will be chaired by Professor Ikua Bruchum of the University of Cape Coast. The speakers will be Professor Raymond Atuguba of the University of Ghana and Comrade Kwesi Pratt Jr., General Secretary of the Socialist Movement of Ghana. Join us in exposing the lies of history about the independence and the heroes and sheroes of Ghana. The general public, progressive and socialist forces are all invited.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all our cherished viewers, depending on where you are watching us from. It's been quite a long time since I came on your screens, and tonight I'm back with you on your favorite program, Empowerment Our Show. And it's amazing to be here tonight. Call a friend to call another friend to join us. Don't miss tonight's program for anything. As usual, I am your host, Joyce Ohenewa Kwapon. Today, Ghana News TV is a brand that educates, entertains, and informs audience in the diaspora and beyond on current happenings at home and across the globe. God being so good to us, we are gaining ground globally. Continue to join us on our journey of growth and expansion. If you are new here, please don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Like our social media handles, comment, share, and subscribe also to our YouTube channel. For those in any of the Eastern European countries, you can continue to watch us live on your screen, via satellite on Twitch. Before we delve into our conversation tonight, today Ghana News TV commiserates with the British royal family following the passing of Queen Elizabeth II after 70 years of dedicated service to the United Kingdom and the Commonwealth. May her soul rest in peace. Just to remind you that Authentic Sales, which is an online sales business that offers you quality products at affordable prices, is associated with Empowerment Our Show. For your original Apple products ranging from iPhones, chargers, AirTags, phone cases, iWatch, etc., as well as fashion wares, kindly contact them on 020-800-2854. The quality of your product purchase is guaranteed and assured with Authentic Sales. Afranis Cuisine offers real good and tasty food. For your homemade food, shuttle, catering, and event services, look no further. Reach out to them on 073-070-44120. All right, so tonight promises to be very exciting. Call a friend to call another friend to join us, and we will have a very important and amazing discussion. And so quickly, I would want to introduce my guest for tonight, and we will zoom into the substantive issues of discussion for tonight. And so my guest for tonight is in the person of Mr. Ali Ibrahim. He's a chartered economics fellow, specializing in economic policy analysis. His professional training and experiences spanning over 4 years include youth strategic development, project management, research and program development, stroke evaluation. Mr. Ali Ibrahim has over 6 years of professional work in the area of youth development advocacy, locally at all levels of governance. A lifelong learner with different leadership experiences. His working experience has largely been with Foundation for Security and Development in Africa, FOSDA, as a youth programs and the president of the National Network of Youth Groups. And so tonight we are privileged to have with us Mr. Ali Ibrahim.
Thank you.
If he's here with us, kindly suggestion. It's nice to have you on Today Ghana News TV, Mr. Ibrahim.
Thank you. I'm grateful. It's an opportunity to share and also learn. Thank you.
Absolutely. In fact, there are some topics that always get me so excited whenever we discuss them on our platform. And one of such important topics is what we have for tonight, youth development in Ghana. I am a youth, and this topic is very crucial to me. And so we cannot make do without the youth of a country. And so to all our listeners, I believe that equally, this topic is very crucial to them and of prime interest to them. And so quickly, we would want to commence the interaction. But then before that, I would want to ask a bit of personal questions before we delve into the substantive issues for tonight. Mr. Ali Ibrahim, if I may ask, as a youth, there are so many things that you could have been passionate about. Why do you focus on youth development? Do you have any inspirations why you chose to focus on youth development?
Okay, thank you very much, and good evening to everyone. Good morning or good afternoon to our cherished viewers. And so, to answer your question, um, youth development, or as an individual passionate about youth development, we cannot run away from our future. And so, as a nation, or maybe as if I can put it, the whole globe, we have now the most youthful population, not even in Ghana, but across the globe. And so, young people, their issues have become a central point of discussion across all platforms. Both developmental partners, even the nation, and all development agencies across the globe. And so, Ghana here, we are not isolated. We are in the global village, and so such interest must also be given to such a space. And that is why, as an individual, definitely somebody who is transitioning from a young person to become an adult, you have to have the interest to leave some blueprint that other people can also come and say, this is what has been done, and so we should build upon it. And so that should interest each and every one, because if you don't have such an interest, it means that you are not going to focus on your future. Because once you go and you are developing, you have other younger people that are coming. What legacy are you leaving behind for them? And what are they also learning from your footsteps? And so that is basically the interest that is driving this youth advocacy agenda.
Wow, that's interesting to note. Do you have any role models that you look up to regarding championing youth development or youth leadership?
Okay, so I might not have a specific person, but certainly every single individual that aligns with the young people, their visions and aspirations, it stands out to be a role model. And not only the person proclaiming those ideas in public, but also the steps that they are taking to ensure that young people are giving the best out of every space that they find themselves. So we might not be having individuals that are, you can say, oh, this person or that person, but I think everyone that is striving within his or her space to ensure that young people are giving the best deserve to be a role model.
Right, right, right. That's great to know. I would want to find out from you, as someone holding a position with Foundation for Security and Development in Africa. Tell us a bit about the foundation. What do you do? What are some of the projects that you've embarked on, or what are some of the projects you intend to embark on?
Okay, thank you very much. Foundation for Security and Development in Africa has been in existence over 20 years now in Ghana, and also striving to also make an impact across the West African sub-region. Over the years, the initial agreement or the concentration was more on small arms proliferation in through our border communities, how we can curb that in order that we see proper development within this West African sub-region. But over the years, we have grown beyond just looking at that aspect and to look at more of human security. When we talk of human security, we have diverse areas. You can talk about the food security, you can talk about job security, environmental security, and all other areas that concern human development. And so our focus has shifted a bit from core security issues to human security. And as such, one of the key players that we focus more are the young people. How are we bringing the young people up to speed to be able to understand issues of national development and also hold duty bearers accountable? So over the years, we have been doing a lot of advocacy issues, especially when it comes to economic reforms or policies that will make the economy more youth-centered. It's also more job creation within our education setting as well. So we've been doing an advocacy in the TVET sector. The reason being that we are having an unemployment situation that, if we are not careful, as experts have suggested, we are sitting on a time bomb. If you are not getting employment for young people, it is going to be some area of national security that we must be concerned. So we've been in that space as well, advocating for more policies or policy reforms that will give us the best kind of education, such that if individuals leave school, they should be able to do something with their hands. A handy skills that will not facilitate the individual to be looking for green pastures or greener pastures from the government and other countries. So our focus has been on that. We also, this year, for instance, as we are aware on violent extremism, we have been doing a lot of campaign in that aspect, just to get the duty bearers to strengthen our border communities so that Ghana will not face any sort of violent attack. So we've been doing those kind of advocacy. So the young people are core to our advocacy issues. And just to add quickly, through the advocacy that we have done so far, FOSDA has established youth networks across the regions, more like facilitating them to be able to advocate for issues concerning them within the local setting. As we are aware, development, as we are talking of development, really happens at the district assembly level. How are young people taking advantage of those spaces to advocate so that every single year the district assembly budgets and their policies are youth-centered and gearing towards reducing the poverty within our country. So that's what we've been doing over the years, and other areas of like gender empowerment, or women empowerment, and other spaces as well.
Wow, that's very impressive. I mean, you've done a lot of projects and is worthy of applause. Mr. Ibrahim, when we talk about youth development, what are we really expected to look at? What exactly is youth development?
Okay, so before I delve into that, it is important we understand the issues. What are the issues that are confronting young people?
Mm-hmm.
One of the key areas that we cannot run away from is the issue of the economy. We can't run away from that. Another area that is a critical issue is the socio-economic and the cultural settings within our communities. And all these things, how are they contributing towards effective community development? And so looking at youth development, in our own understanding, is to ensure that policies and programs that are rolled out from the central government as well as the district assemblies are more youth friendly. There should be policies that are youth centered, policies that include young people's ideas and then also inspirations as well. Once we have this, then we can talk about effective youth development within our setting. So right from the inception of those policies, the implementation, and then also evaluation, we should be able to get young people to participate in these spaces. so that they can own the programs, they can monitor the programs, and then ensure that what they want is what is happening. Because day in, day out, we are moving far away from the Stone Age issues. How do we get bread and butter to every single individual, especially the young people? And if you look at just the recent news that we are hearing about Galamsey issues, what is bringing that? It is the fundamental is the bread and butter issue. Young people coming out from school without gaining jobs, and they will have to find a means to survive. So, critical to youth development is the reduction of unemployment and then creating sustainable jobs that will also aid to remove poverty within our local settings.
Wow, wow, that's great. And so, with regards to what you mentioned, what are some of the policies, or should I say, plans that have been put in place to ensure that the youth are properly developed to contribute to national growth and development? Are there any plans? Are there any national or global plans that you know of that you think are very critical and must be looked at to make sure that the youth is properly developed?
Yes, thank you very much. Just like I indicated earlier, young people have become central issues to the global partners. And so because of that, UN, United Nations have developed a resolution, and it is termed the Resolution 2250. That is basically giving young people the voices to participate and demand accountability from the various states. And because of that, every country is mandated, since everyone is a member of the UN. So, like Ghana, we're supposed to have an action plan that clearly spells out our youth developmental agenda. Beyond the UN, we also have the African Youth Charter and other international policies that Ghana has subscribed to. So those are actually avenues that are giving the young people the strength to be able to carry out effective activities and advocacy on these matters. But beyond that, when we come to Ghana, we also have our constitution. The constitution is very explicit about the development of the young people. And we might not have time to go into the specific clauses, but that is also a critical area that has given the young people the voice to speak on national issues that are affecting them, especially with regards to their development. Because as it stands, if you are not able to have effective young people that are mentored and then given the right form of mentorship, certainly we might not have a future that will also give the younger ones coming behind a better future. So certainly across the globe, there is a much investment when it comes to youth development. And so the CSO partners like FOSDA, we also trying to contribute our quota. If you also look at the SDGs, they are more youth centered and giving the young people the leverage to demand their right to participate in every single decision making. So there are laws governing that, and there are policies as well.
Okay, so with regards to these existing or established laws, policies, and interventions or programs for youth development locally and globally, how functional do you think these interventions are?
Okay, so when we talk about functionality of these policies or maybe laws, we have to look at it in the context of the specific countries. So if you look at Ghana for instance, so far we can say that there has been an effort to come up to speed when it comes to our youth development agenda. And that is why we now have a full authority to deal with youth development issues, and that is the NY. mandated by law to mobilize young people across the country so that they can effectively develop their skills when it comes to national development. And so there's a step and there's a conscious effort to do the kind of work that we need in the youth space. And so we might have to also go down into the specific policies and programs by each government over the years. Okay. Since the 1992 Constitution has been accepted, adapted for us, you can see various political parties win power and then come with their manifestos. But how have their policies inured to the benefit of the young people, especially when it comes to job creation? In that, when we want to examine it critically, you might see that every single government would come with a policy for the time being, just to aid them reduce some unemployment situation. We have so many policies that have been rolled over from the Mills Mahama regime. We also have the Kufuor's regime. Then even back in the J.J. Loris regime, we had policies. But all these policies, as we say, if you look at them, if you want to examine them critically, have not really performed much better as expected if you want to examine the youth ecosystem effectively. So I think that is what drives the stakeholders to have a discussion to bring the national youth policy that will coordinate all these sectors and enhance the true nature or the true potentials within the youth space. So we are happy about the current national youth policy that has been launched. And I think there's a lot that needs to be done, but the launch of it alone is something that we can celebrate as a milestone to getting young people the best that they deserve.
Exactly. All right. So in your candid opinion, what is your outlook of youth development in Ghana? Is it progressive, or you think we are really not making headway with regards to youth development in our country?
Okay, so with this one, I would want to answer it in various areas. For example, when it comes to participation in governance, if you take participation in governance, one is that we have a youth policy that is giving various categories of young people the opportunity to participate in decision making. However, if you want to examine the progress of youth development based on job creation, then we can say Ghana is really lagging behind. So much to extent that unemployment issues are really getting bad and worse by the day. And so there are various areas that we can use to examine this progress. However, if you want to look at this, then I can say we are not doing better. And more to the point, if we examine it based on job creation or giving young people the opportunity to have decent jobs, we can also say that the other areas of youth development are also failing. Because young people, once you don't have bread and butter, you are thinking of the next meal. There's nothing that will click your conscience to also look out for. So young people need that safety space, especially with the job, before they'll be able to contribute to their quota towards effective development. Imagine you call a young person to come and sit on the table with a hungry stomach. What will the person contribute to that discussion? And so we have to look at job creation as critical area or a space that we have to look at very effectively and efficiently to gain youth development agenda that we are looking at.
All right. Thank you so much for that point. In relation to the same job and unemployment, don't you think, or let me ask your take on this, looking at how unfair or limited opportunities that we have as youth, you look at a company that is just about a year or two in existence, and such a company expects about 5 or 10 years of work experience from a youth for an entry level position. What can you say with regards to that?
Okay, so thank you very much for that. So if we want to look at job experiences, I think it all boils down to our educational setup. How are we giving the young people transformative education such that throughout the educational agenda, or as an individual is going through the ladder of education, you are given that much needed practicals that also comes with industry demand. So, for example, as a university graduate or going through university education, how are our education policies within the semester or the trimester setting aiding young people within that space to gain the practical knowledge of what they have been taught in school? Once we are able to solve that, then we can say that the qualification that you need to enter into a job vacancy will definitely be easier for any individual. Because by the time you finish your program, you might be able to go through some practical skills that will aid you to gain that job. But what are we seeing now? We do more grammar education, and as time evolves, we are seeing companies in need of critical skills that we don't have. So it boils down to our education policy and then also the implementation of the policy as well. So that before an individual finishes his or her university education, the person should have some practical skills that are employable beyond just the certificate that is given to individuals to go and look for jobs. You might be roaming with your certificate, but that is not the job requirement that the company needs. If you need somebody to do a data analysis and you are holding BSc economics and then you are unable to do effective data analysis, the person might not even be able to employ you. So it depends on our education setting and how effective we are taking our TBET sector as well.
Right, precisely. We also want to find out your view with regards to extortion of Ghanaian youth from foreigners in the job market in terms of working conditions, salary, non-compliance to some provisions in the Ghana labor law, and a whole lot of issues that are facing Ghanaian youth. What is your take on that?
Yeah, I think that is pure unaccepted. You cannot be exploiting young people to your advantage, especially if you have good organizational ethics. Because safeguarding is really important to every single person. Imagine a young, pretty lady going to look for a job, and you will have to, they are asking you to do certain things that are unethical before you gain the job. That is completely unacceptable. However, I think it all boils down to we educating our citizens on their rights and then how they can also go by that. If we are able to educate young people on their rights, it's strengthening them to have that leverage to come across those issues and really bring them out. Once we're able to expose those issues effectively, and I think the law will take its course on that. But you have individuals succumbing to those things because of so many factors. one of the factors that we have discussed already is the issue of the mass unemployment graduates in the system. You have a job opportunity that is being advertised, and you have about thousands of young people applying for such opportunity. It certainly creates a room for extortion. So we need to diversify the economy. We need to also work effectively to improve other areas that the young people can have advantage and opportunities in there. Now, once the economy is limited to office work and other stuffs, we are going to have some of these things. We have so many potential when it comes to the agric industry, the value chain in agric. So many potential when it comes to mineral and other natural resources. But how are government policies gearing towards creating opportunities in that space? So we are seeing policies on paper, but implementation is certainly not the way to go, especially looking at how we have so much graduates in the system that are unemployed and then they are looking for jobs. So certainly extortions from any other person is criminal, and we must not condone it at all.
That's great to know. Those are very valid inputs, and we appreciate you so far for all the inputs you've made on today's topic. I would want to give you a little break as I read the comments that have come through, and then we'll proceed with the interaction.
Thank you.
All right. All right, so this is from Patience Darko, and she says, "Welcome, Ohenewa. We miss you. You're really looking beautiful today. My greetings to all the viewers and your guests." Thank you so much, Patience Darko. I miss you too, and I'm glad to have you on our show tonight once again. This is from Brimpon Boisiakon, and he or she says, "I'm watching you from Warsaw, Poland. Today is my first time of watching you on this channel. You look amazing and beautiful. Thank you so much. I appreciate greatly." I saw a few others. Okay, this is from Osei Superior, and he says, "I love your introduction and command on the English language. I'm watching you live from Barcelona, Spain. Politicians in Ghana, especially the current government led by Akufo-Addo, is destroying the future of the youth." I saw a few other comments coming through. This is from Gideon Tavia, and he says, "Great to have you back on our screens." Thank you so much. It's amazing to be back as well. It's been a long time off the screen, and I'm glad to be back. VIS Ghana comes in to say, "Watching you from Edukro Mekiapim, the youth of Ghana are doing well, but the politicians are messing up their future. Your presentation is superb." Thank you so much, VIS Ghana. I appreciate greatly. Crystal Kwapon says, "That's my sister." Thank you for coming on, Crystal. I have a strong support system from my family. Okay, and so this is also from Kent. Is it Conte Nana? Let me just cross-check. Okay, and then he says, "Hello, watching on YouTube from Poland. The devil finds work for the idle hands. God save our children." Absolutely true. Nana. Okay, so Nana Tafrimo also comes in to say, watching from Chatale, Northern Ghana on YouTube. This is my favorite online TV program. Madam Host, you are very beautiful and intelligent. Your guest is also very articulating. Greetings to you all." Thank you so much, and it's nice to have you. Thank you for making this your favorite channel. This is also from Jacinta Ama Esiedu, and she says, "Great delivery." Thank you, Jacinta. I don't know if there are some more comments. This from Joyce Anso, my mom, and she says, "Proud of you." Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mommy. All right, so Solomon Okai also comes in to say, "Great work. How can the youth be influenced to take TVET seriously? The unemployment levels are rising to dangerously high levels. And so this is for a question for our guest. I would want to pass it on to him and then hear his opinion on that.
Thank you very much. I hope you can hear me.
Absolutely, I can. Thank you for
Okay.
having you back, Ali. I think there was a question for you. I don't know if you got the question or you would want me to repeat it.
Yeah, so you can repeat it, then we take it.
All right. And so Solomon Okai comes in to say, how can the youth be influenced to take TVET seriously? The unemployment levels are rising to dangerously high levels.
Okay, so thank you very much. I think this question boils down to a specific area of our national development. To influence young people to take advantage of TVET in order to reduce unemployment situation in Ghana and possibly across the West Africa, we need to have policies that are also youth-centered, especially for the TVET sector. We need to have those policies that are influencing the thought of young people. Over the years, we have heard so much about individuals that are going to the TVET institutions. The policy then is that if you are unable to read properly and then write your exams and then get the grade A's and the B's, then you are pushed to the those TVET institutions because they feel that your brain is not working. So you should go there and learn something on the job with your hands. That is something that we need to demystify. We need to completely erase it among the thoughts of young people, especially leading the change from the parents. You can see if two individuals, two children from the same family, once the person is able to score the A's, the father or the mother will tell him or her, oh, go and read law, go and read medicine, go and read this stuff, because they are seeing that there's somebody in that space that has become wealthier. So how are we changing the mindset of the parents to telling them that the best way to go is to let your child also have that skills in his or her hand that can readily or give the person that a job to do. That is one thing. Another thing is that to change our educational policy. For example, if say for example, also big schools, you have PRESEC, you have other schools across the country that are termed as big, and when students are being posted, they rather prefer those schools because they know that the person can become so and so and so, a lawyer or any other person that they can. Can we get a government policy to ensure that those schools admit or run educations that are TVET oriented? If you are able to get the government to push for that, then it so happens that, okay, I'm doing TVET, but I'm attending PRESEC. That alone is a mind changer. So it gives the individual that sort of mind to know that, yes, I can also make it through this one. Another thing is also to highlight individuals that are skilled and then also honor them in that regard. Somebody can do welding, proper welding. Somebody can do build a house, but the person doesn't have a formal education. How will the government policy come out to ensure that that individual, even though the person doesn't have formal education, but because he's able to do his work professionally, that person is also rewarded or highlighted in the society? So these are policies. For example, let's look at Azuma Nelson. He's called a professor in that space. Did he read or write any exams to become a professor in that space? No. He's been celebrated worldwide. Can we identify individuals with skills that are beneficial to this country, even though they don't have that formal education, but in their field of work, they are professional? Highlight them and then award them. You can award them with degrees, you can award them with masters, you can also award them with professor titles. And that all would help us to be able to solve this canker in the country. Thank you.
Wow. I couldn't agree any more with you, Ali. I think you hit the nail right on the head with all these salient points that you have given. Thank you so much for answering this question very well for us. To our listeners, to our cherished audience, if you have any questions, you can kindly send them on our platform, either Facebook, those of you watching us on Facebook, those of you watching us on YouTube or on any other platform, you can kindly send your questions and then our guest speaker would address them appropriately. All right, so thank you once again, Ali. I would want to find out, in what ways do you think the youth can be empowered or have their potentials developed or harnessed to help with nation building or to help even with youth development?
Okay, thank you very much. Um, I think one of the things that we have to look at, or the space we should watch out more, is the policy, the youth policy that has been launched. The youth policy that has been launched is from 2022 up to 2032. That alone gives us some leverage to ensure that every single word that has been put into that policy is beneficial to the young people or is implemented to the letter. Once we are able to do that, then we can harness that potential among the young people. The policy, it cut across various areas. So the young people will have to own that policy and ensure that the policy is implemented to the letter. And the critical investment that we need for the youth policy to be properly implemented, we call on government to ensure that such resources are available. So over the years, FOSDA has been championing, especially for the TVET sector, more investment in that space, because we believe that once there's more investment in that space, especially the domestic aspect of the TVET financing, if you're able to get the government to invest or earmark an amount of money that is domestic, it is going to help train these young people to be critical in the environment and also develop their skills. So once we're able to get that, then we as young people would help the government through holding the various ministries and agencies accountable, so that any form of monies that have been channeled to the youth development is accounted for and is also used effectively and judiciously for the youth development. Once we're able to do that, then we'll have something that we can hold on as young people that we are developing.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Ibrahim. And I think throughout the discussion, you mentioned some of the challenges that are involved in youth development, especially in our part of the world, such as unemployment. Do you have any others that you would want to speak to?
Okay, so one of the areas that we cannot run away from is the socio-economic culture. How does our culture help build that resilience in the young people?
Okay.
Every single cultural practice that does not inure to the benefit of the young people is something that certainly will cripple that young person. Especially when you look at our traditional areas, the culture and the values that they have, how are they using it to ensure that young people are benefiting when it comes to developing their mental skills and other stuff. So I think one critical area or development area that we have to look at is also to look at our cultural practices so that young people are given the voices to air their voices on issues that are concerning them. We're more like young people before, if you are talking with an elderly person, there is that form of intimidation that is in you. How can we use our cultural values to ensure that young people within that critical stage are allowed to air their views? And if they are making mistakes, they are corrected. And then they learn from that and then move. But once we are not getting that from our elders, it's going to be worrying and it's going to be something that the individual will grow with. And so, even if, say, for example, you are working under, let me so call a big man, and the person is doing things that are not good, or you can see the person is being corrupt and doing some fishy things, you feel so intimidated to come out and then say them. And once you don't do that, then you should know that thousands of young people are also going to be affected in that area. So we need to develop that culture to ensure that young people, right at the young stage, are very vocal on issues that are affecting them and voices, or they are giving critical voices in that space as well.
All right. Thank you, Ali. That takes me to my follow-up question. We have, or we hear a lot of youth asking for a seat at the table of managing state affairs and other responsibilities or leadership positions. As a youth, do you think most of us are adequately prepared for such responsibilities? Is it just enough to ask for a seat at the table or at the helms of affair, or you think there is more for us to develop before we ask or make such demands? What is your take on that?
I think we even have to move from that notion that we have to be given a seat on the table. You don't need for them to give you a seat. Take your chair and come and sit on the table. That is what we need now. Because just imagine this our economy. We have so many people that are on retirement, yet they apply because of some political advantage. They apply to be their employment status to be extended to 2 years, 3 years. Can you imagine if all those people vacate their position? How many young people will be given the opportunity to serve on that table? So we don't even need to wait for them to invite us onto the table. We will bring our chair and sit on the table and ensure that we participate in the decision making processes. That is why in our advocacy processes, we enlighten young people on the need to demand accountability from duty bearers. It's certainly something that we should be doing, because once you demand accountability from duty bearers, it creates that space for you to have your say and all that. And bear in mind that a society that is, we don't have such things inside, a lot of things can go down the drain and we will not get the proper things done. So we need that at every stages of our life.
All right, thank you so much. That was hilarious, but I think you made a solid point. we wouldn't wait to be given a seat at the table. We are actually going to carry our chairs and then find space at the table to sit on. Thank you so much. I think any youth listening to this will be more like something to ginger the person to know that you have to create your own space, find space there and then sit and then contribute to national development in your own small way. All right, we'll be wrapping up with tonight's discussion. It's been an interesting one, but time is not on our side. We have just a few more issues to tackle, and then we will call it a night. All right, so Mr. Ibrahim, I would want to find out. We always hear that we hear this mantra that the youth is the hope of our future or the hope of every country. As a youth development advocate, how do you see the future of Ghana? Do you see a bright future looking at how or the progress of our youth development? What do you have to say on that?
Okay, thank you very much. I think certainly we don't have any reason not to have hope because of the numerous work that has been done by CSOs and other development partners. We definitely have a hope and we have a brighter future. That is why we are even here talking about youth development. So when such discussions are going on, certainly that should give us hope that the future is definitely brighter. If you look at the recent issues that have come up, you can talk about the fixed the country, you can talk about Arise Ghana. If you look at the component or the individuals that are driving these campaigns, 90% of them are young people. And where I see it, I see that the single agenda that they want to drive is that let's get better things done or better policies for the future and now. So certainly we have hope and we will definitely move in that space and then ensure that the Ghana we want is what we are offered.
Certainly, we have hope. I love that. We certainly have hope. All right. And so I have just one question, and then I'll take your final words to the youth if you have nothing more to add. Okay. So with regards to politics, one other difficulty with youth development is the identification of legitimate youth representatives, since there are many youth groups. And the challenges are complicated by deep polarization on the youth front, where we have some young people unable to separate their youth interest from their political affiliations. It's very popular in our universities where we have the 10, we have the TESCON, and all these other youth political groups. Do you think this political polarization has a negative consequence on youth development or otherwise?
Okay, thank you very much. I think this is a double-edged sword. It can be positive, it can also be negative. Why am I saying that? When we look at the positive side, the Constitution has granted us the right to association. You can belong to any form of association that you want. That is a right that has been guaranteed under the 1992 Constitution. That certainly is, we can also link it up to our human life. We have so many tribes in Ghana, but that issue should not be an issue for us to be divided. It's just for us to have divergent views on issues. We agree, we disagree, to agree, and all that. So you bring your view, I bring my view from my own perspective. Then we take it up from there. So that is the positive side that we can talk about. Once we have so many groupings and other individuals forming an association, we are only looking for their ideology. What do they want to carry? So we actually encourage more groupings to come. So 2, 3 individuals will sit with like-minded people and express their views on issues that are affecting them. That is actually good. However, if you want to look at the negative side, politicians, because they fear numbers, they try to also use that as an avenue to propagate their agenda. If you look at TESCOM and the other one, uh, TAIN,
Yeah.
for NDC, TESCOM for the MPP, it is not bad.
Yeah.
It is just an ideology that they are expressing. But where such groupings are used to, as in, propagate issues that are not beneficial to the young people, or possibly aligning so much extreme political ideologies that is not to the benefit of the young people, certainly it is not a grouping that we should encourage. And you can see it, it is rightly playing in our NUCS elections.
Yeah.
What is happening in our NUCS election? NUCS used to be a very vibrant youth front, especially for the education aspect. When NUCS talks, government will catch a cold. How has that space been diluted with this polarization? That is certainly something that we have to look at. And if you look at most of our critical leaders that we have, I don't want to mention specific names, you can see most of them pass through that. And then they are great leaders that we can talk to, and we can look at them as mentors. So once we, as young people, form groups and alliances to push an agenda that is beneficial to the young people, I think it's something that we should encourage across the country. There are people that will group to look for education, quality education within their district or their community. People that will also look at environmental issues, people that will also look at job, and so many other areas that the young people can group and then share ideas for the political class to know that we are here, we are group, and we will not be used as a tool to advance your agenda, but to get things done properly within our constituency or within our regions. That certainly must be encouraged.
Thank you so much, Ali. In fact, particularly being a former student leader as well, way back from school through to NASPA and GRASAG and all that, I share in the same sentiments and concerns as you have raised. And I hope that our youth that are listening to us, or who would one day even chance on this discussion, would be able to take something out of it and see how they can rather use this whole political infiltration for their own benefit or in a positive light than what is actually going on our campuses, especially with the issue of National Union of Ghana Students, that's NUCS. Thank you so much for that. We'll be rounding up very soon. I'll be taking your final words for the youth. And before that, I would want to read the few comments that have come through and then a few announcements that I have, and I'll take your final words before we call it a night. Okay, so this from Kingsley Kwapon, my dad, and he says, very educative program, keep it up. Thank you, Daddy, for this message. I saw a few more. This is from Harriet Pipra, and she says, you are doing awesome. God bless you, Joyce. Thank you so much, Harriet. Keep joining us every week. All right, I think those are the few comments that have come through. I've read the previous ones already. And I have an announcement to make, and then we'll take the final words of our guest for tonight. So this is from Mr. Frank Achampon of Hamburg, Germany. And he sent this message to wish his lovely wife, Madame Janet Amwako, a happy birthday. and she's also in Hamburg, Germany. So, Mrs. Janetta Mwako, this is from your lovely husband, your beloved husband, and he says he wants to wish you a happy birthday, many more years in greatness, in prosperity, and long life. And also from Today Ghana News TV, we want to wish you a very happy birthday. All right, so if this is all for the announcement, I would want to take the final words of my guest. Sorry. So Ali, thank you so much. And because of time, I would want to first find out from you, do you have any other thing to add? If not, kindly give us your final words for the youth, and then we'll call it a night.
Okay, thank you very much. I think what I just have to add is that it's a call to our leaders that are into politics, or various leaders across the country, that the young people are not threats to their aspirations and also the programs that they seek to execute. All that we are seeking is that every single policy or initiative that you are bringing, it has to be youth focused and then youth centered. Why are we calling for that? Is that young people constitute more than 50% of everything, of the population. And so you cannot develop a policy for the young people without the involvement of the young people. Besides, we pass the Stone Age where people have the notion that I must think for this person to develop. No, we are in a generation that ideas and information is to everybody. And so once you engage the young people, you are able to get the right perspective from the individuals and then ensure that whatever policy that you are bringing is to their benefit. With that, they'll be able to buy into your ideas and then follow up with those engagements and then ensure that whatever that you are doing is for them and then they will carry it through. So that is what I have to add. And to the young people, I want to call on all of us that we should stand up and then speak on issues that are affecting us. We have just seen so much corruption that is ongoing. Every year, the Auditor General report generates issues that are not good for our national development, and such monies that are misused in that regard are enough to carry out our developmental agendas. We must not lose focus. We must come and to the table with our own chairs once they are not inviting us. Bear in mind that the number we have alone is enough to influence any form of policy or an arrangement that the government seeks to do for us. But once we are divided, we will not get the needed attention, and then they will pass through those avenues to cripple us in order that we will not get the needed development for our dear nation. So we should stand firm. We should also read wide and then ensure that our rights are never trampled upon by any other person. We have elected those the individuals into those high positions, and we must hold them accountable on every single decisions that they are taking on our behalf. So I want to thank you very much for giving us your platform to share these thoughts. Thank you very much. We are grateful.
Thank you. Thank you very much as well, Mr. Ali Ibrahim. We appreciate your time. All too soon, we've come to an end of tonight's discussion. It was great to have you on board with to share such in-depth knowledge and information with our audience. We appreciate your time, and we appreciate the effort you made to make tonight's program a success. On behalf of the management of Today Ghana News TV, we say a very big thank you to you, and our doors are always opened wide regarding any programs that you may want to have us on board, or with regards to any other discussion you would want to have on our platform. Thank you so much. And to my audience as well, those on the Facebook, those on Instagram, those on YouTube, and even those watching us live on their screens in the Eastern European countries, we appreciate you so much. Keep supporting us. Keep supporting our vision to become the web TV for best programs. Thank you so much for joining, and see you same time next week. It's a wrap for tonight. Once again, I have been your host, Joyce Ohenewa Kwapon. See you same time next week. Bye-bye.
What we say, youth man, before you make up your mind, think before you take up your nine. We say the hottest part of date, know who did, who you did left behind. What we say, youth man, yeah man, this is your side, the soldier and the warrior represented for Today Ghana News TV. It's the best web TV across the continent of Africa. They transmit via satellite and all their social media platforms for your best developmental news, social programs, empowerment, entertainment, sports, and for the best educative political discussion. Today, Ghana News TV, 24/7's online TV. I aside the soldier and the warrior. Blessings.